We have big CNN News 18 exclusive coming in that Khalistan is under one roof in Azerbaijan. The Baku Initiative group, known for proxy activism, hosted a high-profile conference on alleged violence against Sikhs and minorities in India, viewers. Attendees included Pakistan's Punjab Minister Ramesh Singh Arora alongside Khalistani figures from Canada, the UK and the US. The event began with a silence for slain separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, followed by propaganda films and calls to involve the United Nations. This signals a growing Pakistan-Azerbaijan-Turkey axis, using Baku as a platform to fuel anti-India narratives and internationalize the Khalistani issue. So my colleague Siddhant Mishra spoke to political commentator Kushal Mehra over the issue. Have a look.
We are doing this story of how Baku has become safe haven for these Khalistani elements, these groups. In fact, on 16th January, there was this conference which took place in Baku under the umbrella of Baku Initiative Group. Now, this group is also, Kushal sir, not completely an autonomous body or a private group. It has its links with the government of Azerbaijan. How do you look at this development?
Well, it's Azerbaijan is historically close to Pakistan. So till now, they've only had their focus on France. From what I understand, France and Armenia are closer. So they've always, the Baku group I'm talking about, they've always had this close eye on the French. But this time it's clearly that they've taken a unique interest, because I think even India sided with Armenia. And I think the response is the Pakistanis must have gone and lobbied over there. And wherever the Pakistanis goes, the best the two-plank strategy for Pakistan has always been creating essays and papers and conferences around the plight of minorities in India, with a special focus on Indian Muslims and Indian Sikh community. On and off, they do it with the Indian Christian community, but for surprisingly in Christian majority Western world, the Christian bit does not get a lot of takers inside, because all these groups are very left-leaning, right? This entire ecosystem is very left-leaning. So the left tends to ignore the Christian bit, but they always have a focus. It's obvious. It has Pakistani imprints all over it. All the people who were part of the conference, there was a Pakistani Sikh minister, the man who never talks about anything in Pakistan.
Yeah. Also, Kushal sir, would like to understand from you that we have been witnessing this pattern from last couple of years, that Azerbaijan media, their mainstream newspapers, etc., have been mirroring the narrative and foreign policy objectives of Pakistan. Perhaps in fact. It has always been the concern with the Indian side also, the way their narrative is being amplified in their mainstream media. Where do you see this going? Do you think that Indian government should intervene and perhaps be raising this issue with Baku?
I guess they could. The money must be good. That's all I can say. The money must be good for them to come out so openly. The investments being made to them in form of sponsorships or other kind. Otherwise, I don't know why they would be so over. Usually it is through a sleight of hand, but this is very in your face, as you rightly said. But I guess the money must be good, and as Rubicon must be crossed. Look, at the end of the day, this is how this entire honestly, I have a very low opinion of the think tank circuit in general, in just being very honest with you. And a lot of these things are always, who is able to come up with the moolah, put the money on the table. And it reminds me of the old Sprite ad. वो हीरजी होता था, उसमें लोगों को पैसे दो कुछ भी बोल डालते हैं. It honestly has come down to this, and it's really and this is how the network works, right? A conference is held, a conference paper is written, a conference paper is then picked up by some random politician in different countries. Then that random politician in those different countries talks about it on the floor of the house. Then some random media houses write about this conference and do kadi ninda. They condemn India and what is happening. It's the same cycle repeated every single time. And this time we have a new player in the Baku group.
Thank you, Kushal sir. Thank you so much for finding out time to do this interview. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.